You see here a completed mentor request letter. You're required to write a letter to your possible mentor. Even if the person has already said yes, or you are talking to him face to face, you are required to write a letter to demonstrate the skill of formally requesting action from a person. I will first of all go through the parts and then come back and give some detail. So the first thing you have is the address of the writer, which is you, and a date. You then have the address of the person you're sending this letter to. We then have what is called the salutation. We then have the body of the letter in paragraph form. We then have what is called the close, or the complimentary close. And then we have the name of the writer typed. So those are the pieces. You will also be doing 2 other letters later in your Culminating Challenge, and the format will be the same. All right, back to the pieces up here. So this first address is that of you, the writer. Okay. If you are uncomfortable using your address, you may use the school's address. So we have the street address, the city, comma, the state abbreviation, all cap, and then a zip. And then we have the current date, and this is formal, so it's spelled out. Please do not use MLA format date. We then have 3 blank lines until the address of who you're sending the letter to. So we got the name of the person first. They may have a business title. This can be left off. They may have a business name, but this can also be left off. The street address again, city, comma, state, and zip. We then have the salutation. Notice we put the word dear here, and we drop the first name, and we add a colon. Another blank line, and then we get to the body. Now, in the first paragraph, you introduce yourself. You tell them you're senior at Monroe High School. You're working on your Culminating Challenge for graduation, and then you give them some idea of your project. So they have something to start working with. In the second paragraph, you inform them that you are required to find an expert, and you request them to be your mentor. That kind of butters them up. You then finish off the second paragraph telling them their responsibilities. Help you determine if your project is doable, finalize your project proposal form, assist you as you do your project, verify that you have spent the 20 hours. It's very important to include a statement that they do not have to be present for all 20 hours. That can be a turnoff for some potential mentors. Also inform them they must go through a background check. All mentors go through a background check to make sure we have no criminals. There are a couple exceptions, and your advisor or classroom instructor can tell you those exceptions. In the third paragraph, you acknowledge how their time is valuable and you will not waste it. You also need to include some deadlines of when you would like to hear back from them so you can get moving on your project. And then you need to provide contact information. And then you close it off with sincerely, a comma, leave 3 blank lines for your name, where you're going to sign it eventually, and then you type your name. Now, in terms of margins, we start with a 2-inch margin, top margin, and a 1-inch left and right. And for those of you who are not sure or don't remember, it's File, Page Setup, a 2-inch top. The bottom always stays 1, a 1-inch left, and a 1-inch right margin. And that's the only setup you really need. We may have to adjust the margin later. We will try to keep this letter to 1 page. And so if you get a little wordy, we may have to shorten your top margin to give you a little more room. Okay? So that is what goes into a mentor request letter. There is this information, again, is provided in your handbook, which you can refer to. Or if you need additional information, you can contact your advisor or your classroom instructor on meeting this document.